Thanks for staying with us here on TVC Breakfast. It's now time to take a look at stories making headlines on Nigerian newspapers. And I have here joining me in the studio a lecturer of the University of Lagos, Dr. Dan Ikere. It's good to see you this morning.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Right. So let's head into what the newspapers are reporting. The first one that I have here is Nigerian Tribune. And Nigerian Tribune reports that alleged 80 billion naira fraud, federal government suspends accountant general, postpones FAAC meeting. Federal government suspends accountant general, postpones FAAC meeting. News Direct, ASU strike. Reactions trail NAN's threats to shut down international airports. Reactions trail NAN's threats to shut down international airports as a result of ASU strike. Now, first news. Army Major facing court-martial commits suicide 72 hours before verdict. Army Major facing court-martial commits suicide 72 hours before verdict. That's first news. Daily Sun. Withdrawal from elections. President Buhari to decide Malami, Silva, Ngige, others' fate as Malami, Talon attend FEC meeting after withdrawing political ambitions. That's the Daily Sun there. This Nigeria, resignation saga, ministers in a fix, Malami, Ngige, others' fate hang in the balance. Lai Mohammed, President Buhari will soon decide. That's this Nigeria. Leadership newspaper, 16 days to INEC deadline. APC, PDP in game of hide and seek over primaries. 16 days to INEC deadline. APC, PDP in game of hide and seek over primaries. The Guardian newspaper is next. 2023, APC, PDP in mind game over primaries. In fresh twist, APC adjusts timetable to hold primary hours after PDP's. Says no truth in zoning presidency to the northeast. APC has no reason to zone presidency to north. Tinubu group kicks. Uncertainty in Buhari's cabinet as Malami Talon attend FEC after farewell session, and President Buhari to decide who stays, who goes, says Lai Mohammed. That's the Guardian newspaper. The Nation newspaper is next. Why APC changed dates for governorship, other primaries. Election of presidential candidate May 29th and 30. Party fears INEC sanctions. That's the Nation newspaper there. The Punch newspaper is next. APC governorship primaries. Tough battles in Oyo, Sokoto, Rivers as 44,045 delegates elect candidates. Amechi, Abe's supremacy battles result in gunshots, chaos, factions, trade words. APC denies zoning presidency, shifts National Assembly governorship primaries. That's a Punch newspaper. The Vanguard newspaper is next. 2023, we're yet to zone presidential tickets. That's the APC saying there. And shifts presidential convention, governorship and National Assembly primaries. PDP lashes APC presidency over delay in signing Electoral Act amendment. Says as of today, parties don't know delegates for certain. And whether President Buhari signs or not, ABGA is ready for its primaries. That's according to Oye. And Buhari weighing legality of amended section. Presidency. That's the Vanguard newspaper. The next is National Economy. Banks 261 billion naira first quarter profit sign of post-COVID economic recovery. Banks 261 billion naira first quarter profit sign of post-COVID economic recovery. Business Day is next. Nigeria's fiscal FX woes set to linger beyond 2022. Nigeria's fiscal FX woes set to linger beyond 2022. That's all we have on the newspaper headline. So let's delve into what the papers are reporting. We'll start with the first one, which I took earlier. Nigerian Tribune saying alleged 80 billion naira fraud. Federal government suspends, Accountant General postpones FAAC meeting. Well, this this news broke on Monday, I guess, and it's been in the public place that a lot of people reacting to it. What's your initial reaction when you heard about these, and then followed by the suspension?
Well, thank you. For me, this is business as usual. You know, I see it as business as usual because it's clear that Nigeria is not as poor as we are being told. If an individual is smiling home with 80 billion, that's the one that is mentioned, the one that is perhaps maybe their focus is on. Because at the end of the day, at the time you check the lifestyle of all those people, you discover that 80 billion might just be the introductory part, you know. And unfortunately, it is common knowledge that a lot of people who have been part of government do things of this kind. And again, this is a man who ought to have retired. So
in 2019.
Yeah, so which one is not part of corruption now? For me, they are all the same issue. So, and you recall that ASUU is still on strike over how much? They were talking of releases of 200 billion, sections or tranches, and the rest. One man has 80 billion. That is the one that has been mentioned. Many other such cases, EFCC is on them. At the time you put all these ones together, you discover that a lot of the challenges we are talking about would have been dealt with adequately. So the challenge is really with this kind of system that we are operating, where people who have shown, because I know that the Auditor General of the Federation has actually queried this man, his activities, some time ago. Nothing has been done about that. You see, allow such a person who ordinarily should have gone to remain off, and now you are suspending him. And chances are that even this 80 billion will not be recovered because many of such cases are still dragging. At the end of the day, they will tell you these monies were actually given to them by cronies where they were celebrating this and the case will die down.
There is no way you find you fight corruption without the system aiding that, aiding people to be able to steal public funds, pilfer public treasury. This administration stance against corruption is one thing that we know, but do you feel that the system is not allowing it to fight corruption to a standstill, or what you're seeing does not even look like corruption is being fought?
I have a feeling that they misunderstood what corruption actually stands for. Perhaps what they were looking at is acts of this kind of fraudulent acts where some individuals, take government money and all of that.
And launder it in money estates and some other
but that's not really, if such acts that you call social vices and the rest, it's not limited to stealing of money. And in any case, stealing of money is not all that corruption represents. So if you've not done that, and all you are focusing on money stolen by opposition politicians and the rest, then you are not prepared for the fight against corruption. Much of the excuse you will now find is that, when you fight corruption, corruption fights back and the rest. When corruption fights corruption, it's the same thing. So the idea of corruption fighting back is saying that corruption is fighting corruption. Because you said PDP was corrupt. Who named the chairman of PDP over time? And tell us where they are now. A lot of the senators you have today, a lot of people you have in APC and the rest, were actually founding members of PDP. They were equally part of the governance or government when PDP was in power. Well, now they have shifted base. So who is actually corrupt?
It could be
is it the party as an entity or the individual?
It could be that each party has its own ideology. So it could be that the ideology they had in the past camp that they were, it's quite different from the one that they are in now, because
if I go by that, it means that the ideology is the corruption itself, not the people. because if we go by the activities,
that's your word.
These individuals we are talking about they did this somewhere because they shifted to another place. Those acts are no longer reckoned with.
All right, let's change tack by looking at what this Nigeria actually reported this morning. Resignation saga, ministers in a fix as Malami, Ngige, others fate hang in a balance, and Lai Mohammed, President Buhari, will decide to. We know that some of these top people in the authority, they were actually they were aspiring. They've got ambitions, but when they saw 1 + 1 and 2 + 2 they felt, no, I think we need to step back.
And those are the issues that should actually be queried. Were you actually prepared for the election initially, where you were thinking of obtaining nomination for? Or was it that you were just trying to play a game somewhere?
It's their right. It's their right.
That is what we are saying.
Right,
but it's not their right to remain ministers. It's not their right to remain ministers. So as a man who is in charge of government, and you find this kind of moves made by people, you are not the one who is asking them, come back, I still need you. They said, okay, at the moment, this is where I think I should be. They've made that move, but because there's a position that you must resign your office before you go ahead with that, they are not coming. It shows there's something there that they are getting, which they don't want to leave, even though they will still leave it by May 29 latest.
No, if you're not sure of where you are looking at, you might actually stay, a bed in, how do they even say it?
A bed at hand. Why would you even be sure before you ever imagine such a thing that you want to? You are not sure of winning your ward. You are not sure of winning your state. You say you want to be president. It shows that there's something. Either that you are not thinking properly, or that you have one mischief you want to perfect.
Or probably they were actually spoken to just to drop the ambition. Because, for instance, Senator Chris Ngige, when he was on our channel, on one of our flagship programs, said that he has the wherewithal to attain his highest position in the land. So
and somebody now spoke to him to leave that.
It's possible.
So it shows he doesn't have it. That's a manifest confirmation of, lacking what he claimed to have. Because I know that these people, if they are very sure that they will be president, are you telling me that remaining ministers will be more, profitable for them? Will be more in terms of status and all the rest, where they are answerable to a president? So the truth is that they were actually they were mischievous about all this, because some of them are equally afraid of relinquishing those positions to contest, because their hands are not clean. If you are not afraid of the probes and all the things that will be, what is your fear? If I have made up my mind that I want to be president, who is that person that is going to tell me leave it when he's not the one that is going to vote for me?
Based on your experience, if after a valediction, is it possible for one to say, okay, because valediction, you're actually saying you're revised,
exactly,
you've been sent off.
Exactly.
Is it possible for you to come back and say, I had said good night, but I'm coming back to say good morning?
But it has just happened.
Is it possible for them to retain?
It has happened already, so it's possible. The issue is there any law against it? I don't think there's any either. I'm not aware of any that says that, okay, I have decided I want to leave. Then all of a sudden I made a U-turn and say, I want to remain. Yeah. And I'm given the opportunity to remain there. I don't think there's any law against it, really.
The biblical prodigal son.
But the truth remains that these guys are taking us for a ride. There is no serious-minded person who will make that move and say because somebody spoke to him or her, then he is returning and all the rest. It shows that they are not serious. And it equally shows that there is something on that seat that they are getting that they don't want to leave at all. They don't want to relinquish. That's the major challenge.
All right, let's change tack again by looking at the Punch newspaper, and then politicking is actually there in the air already. APC governorship primaries, tough battles in Oyo, Sokoto, Rivers, as 44,045 delegates elect candidates, and Amechi Abe supremacy battle results in gunshot, chaos, factions, trade words. APC denies zoning presidency, shift National Assembly governorship primary. So let's take it from the headline and the rider between the issue between Amechi and Abe supremacy battle, which actually led to chaos.
Yes, Senator Magnus Abe is one of those, APC stalwarts in Rivers State. Amechi is one of them too. The man was in the Senate. Amechi, he was initially a commissioner and later, became a senator. Amechi was a governor and today is a minister. But it seemed that along the line, they fell apart. And today, there is a battle for supremacy. Interestingly, Abe is not even contesting for president or presidency. It's Amechi who is interested in presidency. But within Rivers State, there were issues about which of these groups actually properly represents APC. I know that there were such contests, there were such issues of, APC, perhaps APC 1 or APC 2, because they went to court over which of the leadership is actually APC. And Magnus Abe has always insisted that there shouldn't be anything like an anointed, candidate or whatever, whoever is interested in any office should face the public, the electorate. You know, so this time around, that tussle between the two of them has led to their supporters coming out. And most times when this has happened, whether the person they are supporting is interested in it or not, is a non-issue. The supporters themselves have their own, in fact, you call them supporters, but in a way, they have their own mind. They perhaps know what they are looking for. You know, so at the end of the day, they blew this things out of proportion in most cases, to the extent that chaos becomes, you know, the later part of it. And from the report, there were gunshots, but there wasn't mention of any, you know, death. So it shows that perhaps, and don't forget equally that these men have police attaches. We really have not, they've not proven to us who actually fired these bullets, whether the bullets have any form of you know, security detail, whatever that you can trace to either the police, soldier, or from anywhere. Right. They have not told us that. Then the issue of the battle for governorship and the rest among, but we already know that it's going to be a very tough one, because several people are coming out. Even the race to be president, you saw with the 100 million, maybe initially they brought it out with the mindset that with this one, those who will be aspiring will be fewer. Yeah. But you saw how people were just throwing in 100 million naira for a paper that they are going to fill. So the same thing is going on with all the other.
You call it a paper. The paper actually comes with you know, very, very, you know, significant words.
Yeah, we are the ones who give it that significance. Because all they have done is nomination form, which you can actually fill without paying a dime. It's just a form.
All right, so very quickly, the Guardian newspaper, as a way of coasting home, the Guardian newspaper says 2023 APC PDP in mind game over primaries. And I want you to react to the fact that in a fresh twist, APC adjusts timetable to hold primary hours after PDP.
Yes. As a matter of fact, the two of them, PDP and APC, are watching each other's back. This one is trying to hear who is going to outplay the other. That's the challenge. But I was thinking that as the party in power, APC should actually not be afraid of PDP. They should be.
I feel the zoning factor is actually a challenge for them. They're not sure whether to zone into the north or to come to the south.
It's not
so much so that
really
if PDP goes to the north, APC might say, okay, let's go to the south.
That's why I say it's not really a problem. It is simply because PDP has thrown his zone open. That is why they are finding it difficult to zone it.
To also zone.
Yeah, because they know that the interplay here is that should we zone this into the south, and PDP eventually fields a northern candidate, and there are chances that, oh, he might rally support from all the northern whatever, and at the end of the day, PDP might take over. I think that's the fear, really. Otherwise, if they are not afraid of such an arrangement, by their own arrangement, I'm sure that ordinarily, it would have come to the south. Ordinarily, the thing would have come to the south. But they are afraid of that should this happen, what are the chances that they will be able to? But unfortunately, no section of this country can win election on its own. They are yet to think about that. And the earlier we begin to play the kind of, because each time you hear Nigeria must be won. Nigeria must be won.
Right.
Now, the Nigeria must be won. The game we are playing has not shown that we are actually prepared for that kind of a system.
Absolutely. And the general complexion of the whole thing is that a lot of people are favorably disposed to zoning it to the south, because a lot of people are saying that swing to the north, why don't you bring it down to the south?
For APC, yes, that's the but don't forget that PDP, the last president, was from the south. So how do you make up with that? Would you say that PDP should zone his own to the south as well?
We continue to monitor events as they continue to unfold. All right, thank you very kindly. Lecturer of the University of Lagos, Dr. Dan Ekere. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This morning.
Thank you.